a piece of redwood burl. This is not what I'm going to use tonight for the box, but I'm just going to do this very quickly for the benefit of those that are coming on Sunday, and also for everybody else that the first thing you do when you're preparing for a crooked grain container is that you round it down between centers. You do, you decide where you want to make have the part. I reckon about 2/3, 1/3. In Ireland we say 2/3, 1/3. We don't know how to say it, TH, you know. Now the tool I'm using for doing this parting off, and I'll be doing it in a minute with the other box, it's just a 1/8 inch parting tool, and it's got you know those grooved parting tools that you buy? Yeah. You know the one that, and it's grooved, some of them are grooved all the way down. Mm-hmm. You know what they do to your wrist?
Oh yeah, but I put wire in that.
No, hold on a minute now. Don't right. Okay. What you do, this is what I don't want to go into. What we do is you get a 1/8 inch parting tool and you grind it regularly. Now that just happens to be sharper on this side than on that side, but that's okay. And you take it to the edge of the stone and you put a groove right there. And we get that on film. There we go.
Oh, I see. You're modifying it. Okay.
You just put the groove in one of the sharpened areas. You see that? Yeah. And then instead of having a groove all the way down, you've just got it in the business end. And you don't actually have to have the groove the same depth all the way down. You just simply put a groove at the back of the cutting edge. Just a little bit of groove. The main thing is you end up with two sharp corners, and you always turn the groove down. Always turn the groove down. See that I have that written there? Groove down. You know why you put the groove down? Well, try putting it up sometime, and then you'll know. Yeah. You don't ever put the groove up. Groove down. And it comes down, and it's like having two little tiny skew chisels, real sharp. And if this is a piece of burl, and it's really good because it doesn't tear the grain. So then you loosen the tool rest just before you finish. See where I've loosened the tool rest? Or the tool rest? The hand wheel. See where I've loosened that? Okay, that's just for the final little bit of cutting. Because if you don't loosen it, when it gets down to a very tiny bit, it will suddenly compress and grab this, and you'll have things flying in all directions. So just loosen that. So if you're going to come on Sunday, and what I want you to do, sorry, are you coming on Sunday?
No.
Are you?
I'm coming Sunday.
Yeah, so you want to listen to this then?
We are.
Okay, so you round, when you go home, you take your piece of wood that you're going to make your box on Sunday with, tomorrow or whatever, round it down and part it off, okay, like that, and then sand these. Have you a belt sander or a disc sander? Sand these really carefully, dead flat, and then use tight bond. And whatever your contrasting bit of wood is, this happens to be black wood. You pop it in there. You sand this on both sides as well, by the way, on the belt sander. And you glue the whole lot up with tight bond in a clamp. And then when you come on Sunday, oh yeah, and the other thing you do is you make your two grips. You know your grip steps for your chuck?
Yeah.
Make that one. Don't do what I just did, stupidly. I forgot. Make your grip steps and then glue the whole lot up, and when you come on Sunday you'll be ahead of the posse, alright? Is that good? Great. Now tonight we're just going to make a regular box. Nothing fancy.
Yeah, I don't.
This is a piece of honey locust. So we'll put a piece of honey locust between centers. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was telling you earlier I had pens made from the peace bowl wood. They're actually out of the same tree, because it was Ireland. It was the biggest one I've ever cut down in Ireland, I think. And that's what they look like. They're just come in a little bag, and it's just a little walnut pen, but it's out of the same tree as the peace bowl. If anybody wants one, they're $40. See me after. That's the only thing I ever sell, by the way, on these things.
Hey Liam,
Yeah.
if we make tenons on those pieces that you talk about,
Yeah.
they're never going to be aligned. So maybe we do want to
No,
wait
no,
to
no,
make
no,
the
no,
tenons.
because what you're going to do is you glue that up, and then you catch it by the tenon, by one tenon, and you part it off.
So it won't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm going to part it again.
Between centers. Now this is fairly straight grained, and the idea here is that it's just a standard box, nothing special. This time we're going to make grips. So what I do is I measure the gap in my chuck with my very near calipers. Now we assume that we're going to just make them come in about there, and the base of the body about there.
that down there.
You know that old joke about the guy tying his shoes? Is there anything else I can do while I'm down here? It's to do with age, folks. Okay, knockout bar for this. That's the one thing I don't know where it is. Ah, thank you, sir. Now, so this is the body, this is the lid. Catch this first. This is what we call a bog standard box. Nothing special. It just kind of whets your appetite for Sunday and Monday, for tomorrow, Sunday. That's actually the body, so I just want to make a step, a little bit of a step, just to give me a bit of guidance. This is the actual lid. So just make sure it's running through, tighten it up. Now I bet you didn't know there was such a thing as an Irish grind shallow gouge. Now you do. Now, first thing I'll do is, this was cut with the scraper, remember? Not the scraper.
Parting.
It's getting late. The parting tool, sorry. So I want to just take a little skim off that with a gouge, just to get a nicer, there's no tears or anything, but there's kind of rub marks. So with an ordinary spindle gouge turned over on its side, when I stop the machine, you'll see the difference in the texture. See that? Very pure, there's no rub marks. Okay. So the first thing we do is hollow out the lid. And what you do is, this is I was wondering why.
We can hear you all
Somebody
right.
should have told me.
We didn't want to interrupt the flow.
You guys hear me at the back even without this? No problem.
It's probably off. Is it behind you?
Is that better? It's easier on me, isn't it?
There it is.
Okay. So it's ground way back at the sides, just like the other gouge. It's got a kind of a square end on it, and it's double beveled. So you can all look at it later. So you push it into the middle, like that, and just widen out the cut by pulling sideways. Push in. Pull sideways. What would be a really good idea is to get your vernier calipers and make sure that you haven't gone too far, gone too deep. when you're putting the lid on a box, it's really important. This is the box, the body of the box. And this is the lid coming down. Make sure that you undercut here, right there, so that it grips on this step. So the amount of times people make a box and they have this step, and then this corner ends up rubbing up about here, and it pushes it back off again. Have you ever seen that happen? So make sure you undercut, go right in there, so that it grips with the very outside here. Now I've got a round scraper, and what you have to do when you're sharpening your scraper, now that's got a negative rake, which is really useful for doing the inside of boxes. A negative rake is this kind of rake here. See that? Again, you can pass it around after. When you're sharpening, it's really important that you have a steady hand and a good flow all the way around like that as you go. Because if you leave any little irregularities in the curve on your scraper, guess what? They'll replicate themselves in the inside of the box. So, I'm starting in the middle of the inside. I'm using light brushing stroke. That negative rake is really great on the side. We're going to try and attempt to get a nice even curve all the way from the center.
What kind of wood is that?
Locust.
Now, if you're not sure that you're undercut enough, if you just get the vernier and put the 2 points in, the same distance each side, and wiggle them up and down. See that? If the points, if there's air between the points and the wall of the box, you're in luck. If it's the other way and there's air up here, then you have to take more. What you don't try to do is waste your time trying to get this here dead straight. Don't even try that. Just get it undercut. Much easier.
Do you ever put a little, let's say, bead on the outside of the lip of the bottom of the box?
Oh, you can do all those things, yeah. You can indeed. I'm just doing a very simple one tonight. Now, what I'm having here is there's a little dimple in the middle of the bottom of the inside. Okay. Now for the finish I use, I'm sure lots of you know about it. It's called Triple E Shadow Wax. Many people have used that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Love
it's
it.
quite common. Alright, so we'll be using that. once you got past that, we're going to be okay. Okay, that's the 180. Move for RT. $320. That in there. Now, what we should be doing oh yeah, there we go. Can't fall any further. We want to put this at top speed, because again they recommend, the manufacturer recommends top speed for final polish.
What kind of wax was that?
So you get the friction up on the triple E first. Somebody recommended, rather than using cloth, use paper. I actually find that that's true. It seems to work better. The paper towel, the domestic paper towel, works really well. And then after our triple E, we put on a coat of the shadow wax. So that's the inside of the box lid. Done. And then we take the body. Now very often what I do with the body of the box is I'll actually scoop out a good bit of the inside and leave it for a couple of days to settle. Because you know what happens is the wood moves. So what we'll do now, before we do the step, we'll take out a lot of the waste from the inside. Again, you make a hole in the center. Push it in the center, make a hole, and widen it. And again, we use our vernier to make sure that we haven't gone too deep. Oops, no, just kidding. Now I do that before I fit the lid because I've already released some of the pressure, you know, move a little bit. Oh yeah, sorry, I meant to do the same thing with this one as I did with the rim of the lid, which is to just trim this. Just get out all those pressure marks. And then the next thing we do is we fit the lid to the body. Now, you know the old story, what to do. You make a step and the body fits on hopefully tightly. So what I tend to do is just fit a little bit of the outside first. You get me? And then work down to that later. If you just do a little bit of the outside and leave a bit of a slope on it like that, it's a good idea because then if you make a mistake and it gets too loose, you've still got material to make it tight again. You follow? So what we'll do now is put that on good and tight. And we turn the lid. When we had the clear stuff. Up against this area rock. Now here's a little thing. You'll never finish out this to the very end. Leave a little bit of a dimple in the middle, like that. Leave a little bit there like that, just a tiny bit. And the reason is, if you cut that all the way out with the gouge, you'll make a little hole, because the last couple of fibres will pull out. Ever seen that? Mm-hmm. Alright, so what you do is, let me just adjust that shape slightly. What you do is you leave a tiny little bit, and then you find yourself a piece of rough sandpaper back here somewhere, and just do that. See that? That's how you solve that one. Now, question, how do you get that off? All right. Here's a little trick. If you get your, now by the way, last time I had a skew chisel, I actually went out to my front door caught it and flung it so that it landed in the neighbour's field. When last seen, it was heading for, never mind, I hate skew chisels. But they're very useful for one thing. Now I want to use this instead, but if you want to separate those, one trick is push the skew chisel, slow it down a little bit, push it into the where the glue is. Why is that not coming off? Okay, I told you I could screw up royally, and it looks like this is it. Now, okay, all I did was, I just made it too darn tight. So we'll just take another little bit off. Strap it down. Like that. See, I'm rushing it. That's the problem. Slow down, slow down. Okay, now just I remember where I rubbed it with this kind of area to push it apart. I just want to clean those corners up, make it nice and there we go. Make sure that is fairly clean. Yeah, not bad. Now a good idea is to separate these out just a little bit. Kind of hard to do, isn't it? Try and get an even separation. If you push this in, and without the heaviness that I had to use earlier, just put a bit of paper in between them like that, and just stand the two corners, make sure all that furry stuff from the pressure area on is gone. Okay, so we're going to end up with a sort of a little, I suppose you call it a capsule box. A bit like one of Ray Key's boxes. Okay, so we'll finish this guy. So this is 180. a shallow wax cream. Good red shiny gold. Okay, that's the lid, it's fine. You just have to take the inside out now. And so ready to go. See how we're doing. See how far we have to go before we go to the bottom. Right, I want to give this a sharpen. There's a nice fresh cutting burr on the edge. Sometimes you're better off giving the scraper a chance to cut. Okay, I've got a little in the middle of the bottom, and I've got a little bit more here. So, and I'm not trying to get a really fine, thin wall. I just want to get a functional box. Something I can put my nerve medication in. We use light working strokes all the time. Okay, that's as good as I'm going to try for. If it ain't good enough, heck with it. Get the lid. Ask the audience you're asleep already. What?
Not quite.
This half is. Sometimes it's no harm as well to slow down while you're cutting, but also while you're standing. Because if you keep the machine running at very high speed, it tends to kind of just fly over the grits, and the grits don't get a chance to cut. So just be gentle to slow it down. Still needs more 180, but that's just getting a fresh grip. Oh, I see. I thought I was leaving a mark from school. It's a bloody bug hole. Talk about chasing your tail like a fool. I see this little bug hole on the outside. It's never dawned on me that it would be on the inside as well. Well, the price is, or whatever, they're going to find it one morning, they wake up and there are little piles of dust on the table beside it. And we finished with 600.
Not so much.
And then back to the shallow action cream. That stuff will make you hide.
That's the triple E.
Yeah, this is triple E. Same again, same thing all over again. And this time we'll be finishing the step. Hopefully.
Do you ever just leave it with triple E?
Then we get what?
Do you ever just leave it with triple E and not put the wax on? Do you always put the wax over the triple E?
I do, but then I think it gives it a better shine. You don't have to, of course, report on. Tell you what, that's full scope, 10 o'clock at night. Does the same thing as Red Bull.
Pass that around, please.
Yeah. You know how I feel then, right? Don't be surprised if the lid doesn't loosen on the body because, although it hasn't so far. Now you see, this being a fairly straight grain piece of wood, it kind of matched through, you know, the grain matches all the way through anyway. Okay? Feel that? Did you hear that pop? Oh, I love that sound. That sound is worth the whole night's work. So now the next thing we have to do, the last little job, is to do the base. So let's see now, we have to grip it either outwards or inwards. Doesn't matter. We can go outwards or we can grip inwards. Which will I do? What? Inwards? I think I'll get a little bit of paper.
That was your sawdust.
Oh,
How will we ever find walnut sawdust again?
just get a bit of walnut and sand it on the bed sander and hold a bowl behind it. This is what I do at home. You don't hear any cracking noises at this stage. Okay. Now, somewhere back here is a small gouge for taking smaller cuts and not putting too much pressure on it. Okay. The important thing is that you use the bevel. This is one area, this is one time when you do kind of use it with a bit of rubbing of the bevel to keep the piece on. And by all means, take very small cuts and take it easy. Just be conscious of the bevel pushing the piece back on to the chuck. I have a feeling it's probably a little heavy in the bottom, but I put it too late to worry about. Just want to be sure that I just want to be sure there's a hollow in the bottom. Again, I use that trick of just leaving that last little tiny bit to be sanded off. Okay, and then we're going to finish this now. this 180. $240. See, the funny thing is you can stand off up to that area that you've already finished. Just blend in and stand it off a little bit. And it's funny, it doesn't leave any, you don't see a joint there at all. Triple E. We're clever to call it triple E, but everybody thinks it's triple E. You know, the stick you use as the buffer.
My wife hates the smell of that stuff. Triple E. Bring a piece in, she says that stinks, take it out. I said, it'll be gone in an hour.
Now, that's it. By the way, I wanted to thank you guys. Thanks for coming along, listening to my rant. If guys like you weren't prepared to come along and listen, I wouldn't be coming here. So, hope you learned something from this mad experience. A few little tricks, you know, maybe a few tips here and there. And here we go. One reasonably good box. It's very like a Reiki box. We won't tell Reiki. Actually, we're hoping to do it with sign it RK. That's enough. It's a bit heavier than I normally would do, but this late at night, I'm not up for heroics.
2 o'clock Irish time.
Oh, stop, don't say that. Okay. Thanks a million, guys.
Thank you.